99X and the Morning X, Barnes and Leslie. Over the last couple of weeks, we've had stories trickling through, and I call them, again, 23andMe stories for lack of a better term. But it all started when I told my story, finding out that I had a niece that I didn't know who lived in Hawaii at the time, now lives in Texas. But basically, I had a brother I didn't know about in high school at the same time as me. When you go to these sites, you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared that there may be a relative out there that you didn't know about. Facts. And it is, and it can be a good thing also. It doesn't always have to be a negative thing. And we talk all the time now, and I've seen her multiple times since then. This all just happened. But we're still getting calls. A ton of people with stories that are just sharing, and we love that. Hey, Morning X, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Who is this?
This is Scott.
Scott. And you have a story for us as well?
I do. I have a pretty good one for you, I think.
Ooh, story time. Hit me. What you got?
All right. So I'll just start at the beginning, I guess.
Yes, it's a good place.
Yeah, thanks. So I was born in 1976. My birth mother was 14 when she got pregnant and 15 when she had me, and didn't tell anybody she was pregnant. So I had no prenatal care or anything like that. And when I was born, her mother made her put me up for adoption.
Oh, dude, this sounds eerily similar to my situation that I shared on the air. Yeah, well, yeah, the whole thing about I didn't know that this brother was born. They put him up for adoption, and it was just like a secret, like, you go away, and then all of a sudden there's a baby.
Yeah, it gets a little bit wilder than yours, I think.
Please, take me there.
We're on the same page right now.
Yep.
So then they put me up for adoption. I'm adopted. We moved to St. Louis from Kentucky. And then we moved to Georgia in 93 to Decatur. And around the time I turned 30, my birth mother tracked me down somehow. I'm not quite sure how she did it. This is before all the ancestry stuff. But she somehow tracked me down and reached out to me, and I talked to her. And she came down and visited me for a couple days, and then I went up there for Thanksgiving that year and met my half-brother and half-sister that she had. And they're all really cool. I got along really well with that side of the family. And I asked her, do you know who my dad is? And she said, yeah, I think it's this guy named Donnie. And she showed me a picture of him, and I looked at him, and I was like, there's no way. That is absolutely not my father. I promise you. And she insisted, and I never met that guy or anything. He ended up killing himself a couple years later.
Cool.
So then you fast forward. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So then you fast forward about 10 more years. And last year I did a 23andMe just out of curiosity to see, what's my ethnic background and everything like that. And it came back and said that I had another half-brother. And I was like, what? Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I caught it. Yep.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I forgot I was on the radio. All right. So I said, what the heck? And I reached out to him on Facebook and was like, hey, I took a 23andMe and it says you're my half-brother on our father's side. I can tell you this about me and my mother. And he was like, yeah, this is my mother. And so I know who our father is, but he didn't want to. He said, I reached out to our aunt, which is his younger sister, and she said, oh yeah, he's not, the best guy, and he probably is not going to want anything to do with you guys. I would just not even waste your time with it. And I thought, okay. So then he, my other half brother Doug sent me some pictures of him from Facebook, and I looked at his Facebook page a couple times and was like, ooh, this guy is like the complete opposite of it. Everything I stand for in life, I'm kind of glad I don't know him. Just based on his Facebook account. And I just kind of left it alone for a couple months. And then around Father's Day, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just send him a message or whatever. And I sent him a message and said, hey, I don't want anything from you. I just thought you might like to know this is my mother and you're my father. I took a DNA test.
Wow.
This guy blocked me on Facebook immediately.
No way.
And I've never heard a word from him since.
What? You confirmed that was indeed your father, actually.
Yes, and I asked my birth mother about it, and she was like, yeah, that's him. Yeah. She wasn't real happy about it either. She doesn't have anything to do with him these days.
How does that make you feel? That's crazy.
And, well, it gets a little bit worse. This is the reason I think why he just blocked me and doesn't want anything to do with me, is because when she got pregnant at 14, this dude was like 23.
Okay. So he's feeling a legal pinch as well.
Yes.
I guess. I don't know what the statute of limitations is on that.
Right, but I mean,
one, really,
he's guilt. Not more that they're going to come
absolutely
get him right now, but yeah.
Right. And then my brother Doug, I think his mom was like 18 or 19, and the guy was like almost 30.
This is the stuff you find out.
Do you stay in touch with your mom? Do you still talk to her?
Yeah, my birth mom, I talk to her almost every day.
Oh, so y'all are good?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're real good. When I talk to my half-brother and half-sister, and I talk to my other half-brother Doug, and apparently I have another half-sister, but no one knows like how to get a hold of her.
Does the father live here?
No, he lives in Kentucky still.
Wow. Is there any more to this story? Because you keep throwing curveballs. Does it end there?
Yeah, it pretty much ends there. It's just wild. It's just wild.
It's a weird feeling. But your story, to the one I told, you are my brother, but you're alive. Like that's the difference is that you were that, in my story, but he died in my story. It's crazy. I think about going to high school with my brother at the same time, 2 years ahead, and not knowing. That must be weird for you to finally get the news of who your dad is and total rejection. Have you faced that? Like, have you worked that out in your head?
Yeah, I have, and I kind of expected it, and I didn't really want too much to do with him anyway.
Damn, these stories are...
but, I mean, we're complete polar opposites.
Yeah, but still, he's your dad, like, you're on this...
But I certainly wouldn't want my daughter around him.
No.
I wouldn't let my 11-year-old daughter within... 100 feet of this guy.
Obviously. But it's a weird emotional... I'm assuming you've talked to people beyond just radio DJs about...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a lot to unpack.
Absolutely. It is a lot to unpack. I'm sure I'm still unpacking it.
I sort of feel like you're taking the news well, and sometimes these things don't end well, so it does sound like you're okay with everything.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is my parents that adopted me. They told me I was adopted when I was like 5 or 6. So it wasn't like a secret. I've known my whole life, so...
I don't know if you remember in my story, they didn't tell. So you did not know that you were adopted.
Yeah.
And he died not knowing. He died not knowing who his parents were. It's twisted.
Yeah, that's awful.
Well, your story is wild. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. And
absolutely.
Like I said, it's crazy, but as far as I'm concerned, it's got a happy ending. My birth mom is great, and all my brothers and sisters are great.
That's awesome.
It just sucks I didn't grow up with them.
Yeah, it's just the one guy's bad, but yeah, unfortunately, that's the dad. Well, thanks a lot. Thanks for sharing. Have a great day. We appreciate you listening to us.
Yeah, I've been a fan since high school, and you guys sent me to several free concerts. It was great. I've got some good stories about those, too.
Love it.
Maybe I'll share with you one day.
Awesome, man. Have a great day. We'll see you later.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Who else has stories? Bring them. This is like serious story time. Do you have one of these 23andMe stories? 470-741-4999. You are listening to 99X.